Super stoked. I was like, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, but like maybe not. Okay, so tonight I will actually just start with some announcements. I don't really have like a screen or like presentation or whatever. I was thinking about it and I was like, I am just so busy today that I didn't have time. But anyway, before we start, I do want to go over some new things happening. So the BFF promo code is going on right now. Okay. That means that if you have any new 2021 coaches, okay, whether they're discount coaches or working coaches, whatever, they have a 40% off coupon that is it one? It's just one, right, Emma? Or is it three? It's just one, right? Okay. They have a 40% off coupon that they can use to bring on a best friend, a coworker, a parent, whatever, that they can bring on. So I did not know this, but the BFF promo codes are not tied to anyone. So what I have been doing is reaching out to my 2021 discount coaches and coaches and, having that conversation with them saying, do you have any friends that want to do it with you, extra accountability, stuff like that. And if they say no, I'm actually asking them for the code because I'm like, hey, like, do you mind if I grab the code and see if any of my coaches would want to bring their BFF on, or if I have, a girl who's interested, and no hesitation. They're like, yeah, of course, I'm not going to use it. Right. So, at least ask them if they have someone, and then, you will work through that with them to help get them set up. They get to use the BFF promo code, all the fun stuff. And I'm like, I've been telling them, I'm like, listen, you will earn $50 like minimum if you have a friend that wants to do this with you and you get signed up. So, yeah, I mean, that's huge. Like anyone can use $50. So, that is at the BFF promo code. And then the other thing is that Emma and Emily Emily is not on this call. She's running her own team call tonight, and Pi. But we are in the middle of the Diamond group in the Diamond Bet, and you guys are freaking killing it. We're so proud of you. Like just all around, so amazing. The girls that are in there. But we were talking and we were like, there's a missing piece that we feel that would be so helpful for you guys. I just like, I've been working really hard on this today. But we are working on a easy, simple, duplicatable new coach mentorship and like onboarding system. Okay. And it's going to be both hand in hand. So a system to onboard your new coaches or discount coaches. And then a new coach mentorship. So we're in the works. It's happening. And I'm literally going to try and nail it down like next week because I have a whole week off. But this is going to be duplicatable. So like you will be able to grab all this information when you're ready to run your own in your own team page, for your own coaches. Like that is like my goal is just make it super easy because honestly, like I'm not a fan of what we have going on right now. So that's that. So those are the two main announcements. And if you did not watch the National Wake Up Call, please go back and watch it because it was so good. And you can actually catch it on the podcast or on our team pages. Okay. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to give it up to our guest speaker, Brittany. I was talking to her like literally 2 hours ago and I was like, hey, send me your accolades. And I was like, oh my gosh, wait a second. I'm like, you built 4 Diamond accounts. Like, this is the perfect guest speaker for what we're going through right now in our Diamond Bet. And honestly, she's running a Diamond group with Bailey. You guys, they all know Bailey because I'm very close with Bailey. So she's running a group with Bailey, and I've actually have ran 2 with Bailey. Love, 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 love. But she's a wife, a fur mama, lives in Dallas, Texas. Success Club All-Star legend, 4 years in a row, checked off last week. Congratulations. She's a lifetime 3-star diamond in her second CBC. And she has also built her spouse, her mom, herself, and her second CBC. So I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to mute myself. So take it away, Brittany, and give us all the tips.
Yes, thank you. Can you do me a favor? I tried to do screen share and it says I need access. So give me the access. Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. Yay, perfect. It says I'm good to go. Thanks so much for having me. I'm going to share my screen here in a second, but I wanted to start just seeing your faces and getting to connect with you a little bit and tell you a little bit about myself before I dive in. So those accolades are super fancy and so shiny. And 7 years plus into this business, um, I feel like I know a thing or two, and I feel like I got something to offer. But I will tell you that the reality is that wherever you're standing today and whatever goal it is that you have in front of you, whether it's diamond, if that's your next hairy scary goal, or if it's 2 star, 3 star, 5 star, elite, whatever that looks like for you, the only way to ever bridge that gap is to just keep going, right? And so I want you to like remember that, like that's the fire I want to breathe into you tonight, is that like no one can beat the person who doesn't give up. And I am a freaking tortoise in this business, y'all. I am a tortoise. Like you can't beat me. I will just keep going. So a little bit about me. 7 years ago, when I did not have accolades, I was an elementary school teacher, actually, Gabby, in Miami, Florida. Yeah. So I miss the Sunshine State a lot, all the time. But I was an elementary school teacher in Miami, Florida, and I was broke as a stinking joke. And I was also broken inside. I was the mean girl. I was the person that would talk about other women when they got up from the table. You know what I mean? Like I was the person that tore people down because I was so broken inside that that was the only way I saw fit, was to tear others down too. I definitely was literally that definition. And at the time, I was, like I said, I was an elementary school teacher and I was just broke as a joke and all the things and just struggling. And I had this friend who she did Insanity. I don't know where she got her DVDs from back in the day or whatever, but she had done Insanity and we taught dance together. And she came rolling up to rehearsal one day with like abs, y'all, like six, maybe even an 8 pack. I don't know. I've never seen abs so solid on someone in my life. And I was like, okay, what did you do? And how can I get some of that? And she's like, oh, I did Insanity. And I was like, sign me stinking up. So I went on Amazon like every normal person would do, and I bought Insanity. Terrible. I didn't even buy Insanity from a Beachbody coach, my friends. I bought Insanity off of Amazon, and I did what everyone who buys a program off of Amazon will do, is I put it on my shelf and I let it collect dust, because I was missing that big component that we as coaches have to offer, which is us, right? Our support, our community. And I didn't have that. And quite frankly, at the time, I didn't want that. Like I could do anything on my own. I didn't need anybody to help me, right? But look where that got me. I put my Insanity DVDs on the shelf. So fast forward, school teacher, I get my summers off, right? And so one summer I decided, you know what, this is the summer I got 3 months, 3-ish months, right? I'm gonna do Insanity start to finish. This is gonna be my summer that I commit to this. And I did, you guys. I pressed play on Insanity every stinking day. I lugged, at that time I had like a dinosaur laptop, and I had like I had the DVDs, and I lugged them everywhere with me. And like I would press play on it like in the most random locations you would ever believe, like in like hallways of schools in the middle of something, like just like wherever I could do my workout, I made sure I got it done, because that was like so sacred to me that summer. And while I was doing that workout, something started to develop and happen. And it was like, it's like when you go to buy a car and you start to notice that everyone's driving that same car that you just bought, but that's really not what's happening. It's just that you're now more aware of that particular car. Well, I was now hyper aware of everyone who was doing Insanity. Like I was so in tune with it. Now, because I was a school teacher, I was very private on social media and I didn't post. I hated when people tagged me and things like, please don't tell my students that I was at the bar with you tonight. Like, I don't need them knowing that, all the things. So it was super private. But I stalked people. So just because somebody isn't vocal on social media doesn't mean that they don't use it as a tool to stalk and live vicariously through others. So I was stalking this friend of mine that I had gone to college with, and she was postpartum and she was also doing Insanity. And so I was on it every day. She was on social media talking about Insanity, talking about her results, talking about this, and I just watched like a hawk. And I finished the program and all that. But then one random day in October, when I got home from work, doing the same thing I did every day after work, just scrolling to kind of numb myself, I saw a post from her and she was just radiating, you guys, she radiated joy. She radiated confidence. She radiated beauty in ways that I was like, how do you bottle that up? Where do I get that? And so she put up a post about joining her coaching team. And I literally had one question for her. I contacted her right away and I said, I want to do this. I just have one question. Because something I also didn't share with you guys is that I was busy, busy, busy. Because I was a broke teacher, I had multiple jobs after work. So I didn't just teach. And that's like the saddest part about our society because I freaking love teachers. The fact that a teacher can't get by herself is or himself is just ridiculous. Different call for a different night. But I but I had multiple jobs. So I was busy, like no breaks in between. I left school, had my duffel bag and drove to the next place that I had to be, put on my workout clothes at that place and did my workout, like I told you, wherever I could do it, and then, do another job and whatever. So my only question that I had for her was, do I have to have parties? Because growing up, my mom, she'd always have these like Amway parties or like Mary Kay parties or Tupperware parties. And like, I just remember parties. Like I remembered like MLMs were like party people. I don't know. Like you always just had people over and like schlepped out all your Tupperware and like buy it and then join my thing. And I also halfway thought I was joining a pyramid scheme, but like whatever. Like I was like, I'm so desperate for extra money right now. That was why I joined. I needed cash. Like you have a business, I'm in. Like done deal. I just need to know, do I have to sell or have parties? And she said, no, we do all of this on social media. And I was like, swipe my credit card. Like I am in. Now, granted, she swiped a credit card that was pretty much maxed out at the time because again, I was broke. So I had no business buying a challenge pack, but my back was against the wall, right? And so we have to understand that like when we get objections from people or people are like, they don't have the money, they don't have the time. No, their back is just not up against the wall enough, right? And when their pain point comes, I want you to be the one they remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want when that person's back finally gets thrown against the wall and they finally will find the money and they finally will find the time, that they finally remember Brittany because Brittany never stopped. And I want each and every one of you to be that kind of person in your business. So swipe my credit card, join coaching. 7 years later, the rest is history, except it's not, right? Like there's just so much that happens in between. But tonight, I kind of want to talk with you guys a little bit about the mindset of Diamond. Gabby shared that there's 4 business centers at some point in my business I have built to Diamond or beyond. And so I feel like I've helped many of my coaches also build to Diamond in their businesses and beyond. And I feel like Diamond is something that I used to put on a pedestal when I first began. Like Diamond was this end goal, like, oh my God, if I hit Diamond, I could like quit my teaching job and like be a Beachbody balling coach. Like what? No, nobody told me that Diamond wasn't actually like the end goal. I thought that like that was what you did. You got to Diamond and like done deal. And so I've learned a lot about the mindset of building to Diamond and how to simplify it. It's really simple when we stop putting it on the pedestal. And it's really simple when we kind of get around the mindset of what it takes to be successful in this business, not just to get to Diamond, but to go beyond that. So I'm going to share my screen. I've got some fun slides for you guys, and let's dive in. So let me throw y'all at the top. And if you have questions as I'm going, you can put them in the chat at the end. I'm absolutely open to answering questions too, and I'll get to them then. So 3 reasons that I've found that most people in this business will quit is number 1, we're focused too much on the what, working for that end goal instead of knowing why you're working. So if you're going for Diamond, only knowing that I'm going for Diamond and we have no reason why we're going for it, right? Number 2, no solid plan. I like to say throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks. And the 3rd reason is an unwillingness to evolve. Ooh, I love this one. Who you are today should not be the same as who you become. So remember in the beginning, I told you I was this like really mean girl where like, if somebody got up from a table, like I would be the one to gossip about them. Like that makes me so sick to my stomach thinking that I used to be like that. Like that's just not me anymore. And I've evolved and I've allowed myself to evolve and grow, and really just have an awareness. So who you are today absolutely should not be the same as who you become, right? So the first one, focusing on what is the problem. So instead, I want you guys to flip your mindset to focus on the why. I want you to know where you're going. Yes, I do not want you to get in a car without the GPS on. Like, I want you to have direction and clarity. And so, if you're on this call, I know you have direction. I know you have clarity because Diamond is your destination right now, and maybe beyond that, right? Like, some of you are probably even really close to Diamond, so you're already thinking about what's next, or maybe you're trying to go Diamond again, right? So you know where you're going. You have a target. I love that, but you also have to know why you're going there. So my what mentality when I began that, back to like when I put Diamond on the pedestal, I used to be like, oh, I'll be rich when I'm Diamond, or I can leave the classroom, or I'll be fulfilled when. Those are all things. Those are all circumstances, right? Having money, being able to leave your current job role, or fulfillment. Those are like what things. But the why mentality is just so much deeper than that. Getting to Diamond because you're going to have done so many programs showing up on your way that you'll feel so confident in your skin. Wouldn't it be terrible to get to Diamond and start to be this leader in the company and not feel confident, right? Like, don't you want to build that as you go? And so that's like part of your driving force, is the why behind that. For me, it was always contribution. It was always contribution. I just so badly wanted to contribute to my household financial goals, right? And so even if that just meant I was paying for groceries that week, right? Even if that meant that, my husband and I, we built this house that I'm sitting in. We moved to Dallas about a year and some change ago, and we built this house from the ground up. And the amount of contribution I've been able to give because of this business, just, it blows my mind, number one. But number two, it's so fulfilling. That's fulfilling. Okay. To be able to create community like I never had before, and to create life by my own design, and truthfully to fire my own boss. I don't want to work for anyone ever again. Like, I just don't. That's just not my jam. I don't want someone telling me where I need to be, when I need to be there, and all the things. And so I wanted that so bad. And that was like the driving why. And my why's evolved. It's always evolving. It's always ever flowing, right? So when it was first groceries, then it became, okay, now I want to buy, couches for the house. Well, I do have a big goal for my team one day. I'd love to take my team. Like, how cool would this be if I got all my leaders on a plane and we went to a third world country and we built like a well for a community that didn't even have water? Like, that's a why that drives me every day. That I'm like, one day, maybe I'll be so financially blessed because of this that I can go take other people to bless people who aren't, right? So focus on why you're here. Number two, owning your business. So first it was not having a plan, right? That was the reason people quit. We don't have a plan, throwing spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks. No, you're gonna flip that and own your business. You guys, you don't have to be there yet. And I put that in air quotes because there is no there. I showed a couple pictures off to the side that I kind of want to like focus on for a second, because I gave you one of me working my business in the airport. My dog is literally sitting next to me in the airport, and my husband's the one taking the picture, and my dog and husband started napping after this. So literally sitting, waiting at the terminal. Do you remember that, by the way? Do you remember going to airports without masks on and things like that? Like, look at how gross that was. That was so gross. No. And then here's me working. This is an apartment that we had at one point in transition, and this little wall here to just the other side, that's it. This was my office space. I took a tiny like IKEA table and I pushed it up against the wall, and I made that work. That was my office. I've had offices in apartments where I couldn't even, like, you guys see me with my arms doing things. I like to talk with my hands. I couldn't even move my elbows back because the wall was right behind me, and I made a little corner wedge in our apartment. Everywhere I've gone, I've made a space for my business because I have ownership of this business, right? I tell my team this all the time. I love this. Create what you crave. So many times, I think coaches give up on what they're doing because they see what other people have, and they either aren't willing to go create that themselves, or they're just kind of riding on the coattails of what someone else has already created, right? And as leaders, when you start to grow a tribe of 12, right? Your diamond is a tribe of 12 at that point and beyond. you have people now counting on you to create something that other people are craving. So what are those things that you crave? Maybe you love community. I love book clubs. So I made up book clubs for my team, right? Like no one in Beachbody says you have to do book clubs on Saturdays. But I'm like, I think it's cool to do book clubs, and personal development's a thing we do in Beachbody. So why not put it together, right? We love doing cocktail nights. Like with my leaders at the end of the year, we celebrated and we made little Shakeology, like peppermint cocktails that we found on the blog. And like we just create what you crave. If you want it, go make it. That way, you wake up excited for what you have to offer. When I'm not excited for what I'm offering, I know there's a problem. I have to get back to like what fires me up. And then I've got to create it. So owning your business, I'm going to get really boring for a second. You're probably like, I've heard this a million times, Brittany. You need to track your conversations and your prospects. In any other sales industry, you guys, and yes, we are in a sales industry. In any other sales industry, they have what's called a CRM, which is a customer relations management tool. Anywhere. I worked for Orange Theory Fitness for a while, and we had CRMs that we used for our prospects, very similar to how we track our conversations here. So if you have no way to funnel people, like this is who wants information, this is who I sent information to, this is who got a share card. Like if you're not tracking where people are going, you're going to lose people. So tracking conversations, tracking the people you're talking to, and just tracking your business. I can literally, like with one reach of my hand, grab my business trackers because they are here. And I teach my team at the beginning of the year, go to FedEx, Kinko's, whatever they're called, right? The office supply store, and just have them spiral bind it. It's like $7 maybe, and print out 52 copies for the year. And then they can go anywhere with you, right? But I'm tracking my daily behaviors. Why? Because it's data. It's showing me what I'm doing, right? Like I know, like, okay, Britt, you haven't really connected with people lately. That might be an issue. Coming down the road, that might be a problem. Or hey, Britt, you haven't really been, following up with people, or your stories have been really all about your workouts and not about anything else in your life, and so I'm able to be clear about the direction of my business. And then I can maneuver and navigate based off that data. I used to think that these trackers were shaming devices. Like my coach would be like, I can't have a one-on-one with you unless you show me your tracker. And I was like, shame. I was ashamed because I wasn't doing it. That's really what it was, right? And so I had to take the shame off of it and just realize that this is data. This is just telling me where there's cracks in my business. The other thing I'm going to nudge you with is, do you have daily work hours or clarity surrounding when you're going to work? Do you know tomorrow already, if you are a 9-to-5er and this is being built on the side? Awesome. I love it. Do you know in the cracks of your day tomorrow when this is going to get prioritized and going to have focus and attention? The other thing too is, has your business been communicated with your household? Part of ownership, I think, is making sure your household is on board. I put a picture of my husband right there because y'all, what if I hit diamond and my husband didn't even know I was like doing this thing? I've met people who like they're running this business and they've got these big goals, but they've never even shared it with their spouse. And I'm like, maybe the climate in your household is not one where you can do that, but maybe navigating the conversation to be open to doing that is the next right step, right? And so communicating your goals with each other is important. Do they know you're in a diamond push group right now? Your roommate, your spouse, whoever you're living with, your cat, I don't care, tell somebody. Do they know your goals? Do they know the vision you have ahead? And do you dream out loud? That's a big deal, okay? And get yourself with people who you're able to talk about these things with. Because in my previous 7 years ago life, I wasn't surrounding myself with people that I could talk about my goals with, or my vision or my dreams. I had to keep them closed in. So I had to work on surrounding myself with a new tribe, right? Also, side note, that was not like a disclaimer to like divorce your spouse tonight if they're not listening to your goals. Please hear me correctly on that. Navigate the conversations and start being open to them, because I want my husband at Summit with me. I want I got some of my girls on the call tonight, and like Leia was just here in town the other weekend, and he was our barista. He was our like margarita maker. He was like the cabana boy, you know what I mean? Like he was all the hats. He did all the things for us, our like short order cook. Like he did everything because he knows my heart. He knows where I'm going with this. And he also is very much connected to the women on my team. So he knows who they are. He asks about them, right? Next is a monthly game plan. So I just actually got off a call with my coaches, and every month we look ahead, probably about mid-month, right around now, and we look ahead at the next month. What are we offering? What are our goals? Um, and we align our game plan with our goals. So what are we offering in April? What free group? What challenge group? What coach sneak peek or opportunity for people to learn more about the business do we offer? What are we offering in terms of helping one another be successful? So maybe like our training calls or success club call, not success club calls, power hours or book clubs, things like that. So we look at the month ahead and we kind of game plan that out. When you're looking at going diamond, is your monthly game plan in March right now and looking ahead into April aligned with that? Meaning, ask yourself, if my goal is diamond, but all I've talked about is a free group, am I going to hit diamond? Probably not. If I want to hit diamond and all I've invited to is my boot camp, do you think you're going to find other business builders to fill those emerald spots? You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that your game plan is in line with your goals. So if you have rank advancement goals, we do have to get comfortable with aligning our marketing calendar to talk about coaching and to invite people to the business, right? And then my monthly game plan allows me to break down what my weekly focus is so that I have intention surrounding it. I'm not just, again, throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks. And I'll just give you guys a rough outline. Typically in the first week and a half of the month, I'm wrapping up last calls for the month I'm in. So like really the last month of the last week of the month, I'm going to be inviting to my next month's group. And then the first week of the month, I'm going to be inviting, right? So like that last first, it kind of overlaps. Then usually that second week, I start inviting to a free group of some sort. My third week, I invite to coaching. And then that fourth week, I go and I invite to the next month's group. And it's kind of a pattern like that, right? So usually 2 weeks focused on my boot camp, getting people into my challenge group, 1 week focused on free value, and then the last week focused on plugging people into what this business can do for them. Okay. And then the last one is that unwillingness to evolve. So my battle cry for you is to remain coachable. So who I am today is not the same as who I was when I began. And I love this picture of me holding a beer because to a T, that is like, it's just a really good summary of Brit 7 years ago. I honestly, true story, you guys, I used to do insanity. I told you I did insanity. What I didn't tell you was I would do insanity. And on our water breaks, my girlfriend and I, we would chug beers. True story. And I don't even know how because insanity is no joke and you need water on the water break. So I don't even know why we're drinking beer. To be young again, I don't know. It worked for us anyway. If you ever needed a reason to feel good about yourself, there's one. But let's dig into this. First of all, are you open and willing to the work that it takes to grow? I'm going to be the one tonight to like burst your little bubble. The stuff between these two photos, you see me on the left and you see me on the right, and the heart work, not even just the hard work, but the heart work it took to get from the left to the right, it's just, you don't see it. We see a transformation and it's like an instant thing on social media. We scroll and we see before and after, boom. But there's a lot of stinking work that goes between those two pictures. And you guys know this if you've been on a fitness journey for more than a week, right? It's going to be uncomfortable. There will be sticking points. And you're going to have to learn how to get back up one more time. And the reason I give you these kind of like Debbie Downer sorts of things right now is because I wish somebody had told me that in the beginning. Because I guess I didn't anticipate how hard it would be. Remember, I saw my mom having these Tupperware parties and I just thought people just wanted your Tupperware. I didn't realize the hard work that went behind all that. And so I want you to know that that it will be uncomfortable and that's normal. You're stretching, you're growing. If there's sticking points, it's an opportunity for you to get curious and ask yourself what's going on and how can I improve? Where can I navigate, course correct? And every time you fall back down, like I said in the beginning, you can't beat the person who never gives up. So the only way to ensure that you will get to your goals is you just get back up. So ask yourself, because the time is going to pass, right? This picture, the 7 years between those two pictures would have passed anyway, my friends. It would have passed anyway. So you've got to ask yourself, are you just going to go through your life or will you grow through your life? Because there's a difference. Okay. The picture on the right would look a whole lot different if 7 years ago I fell down on my face and I said, you know what? I'm good. I'll just go through this. I'll go through this life. And I'd probably look a lot similar to that gal just chugging beers, numbing herself to get through the day, not truly happy and fulfilled. Right. Or you can grow through the things and you can come out the other side like refined. Diamonds. What is the other thing? There's one other I'm missing, but diamonds in general, the coolest thing about a diamond is that it has to go through fire in order to be made. Isn't that pretty cool? Like to think like an actual diamond, not like our ring, but like it's a metaphor. It's a true metaphor. And so I was actually chatting with my girls this morning in a couple of my threads, but in my Dash to Diamond thread, we were talking about this, and there's two ends of the spectrum that I often see coaches on in their journey, and right about the time that they're going to give up. Okay, and there's this end of the spectrum that's like they feel behind, where it's like, maybe Gabby's put some assignments up on the Diamond Push group, and maybe you missed one of the calls they did, or you missed commenting on something, or maybe you haven't watched the National Wake Up Call yet, and you're like, man, I'm just behind. Why even try? So you just throw in the towel. But then there's the other end of the spectrum where we get this like ghost on our shoulder that's like, you should be further along. Well, you should be further along. And then you start to tell yourself, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I'm not equipped because I'm supposed to be somewhere else. And so those two ends of the spectrum, truthfully, they stop people so much of the time. And so my battle cry to them today was that they have to just keep going. Like you have to be constantly open and willing to learning and growing and evolving. I told him that my dad taught me really early on. He was a school teacher for many years, band director, and now he teaches trumpet to a small college in his community as he's mildly retired. He will never retire fully. But I asked him one day about retirement, and I asked him about, quitting his job, or, when's he going to be done working? And, me, I was like, when are you going to be done working? And he's like, Britt, the day that I don't want to learn anymore is the day I shouldn't be a teacher. And I took that with me into the classroom, but I also took that with me into coaching, because the day I don't want to learn anymore is the day I probably shouldn't coach others. The day I think I've arrived, you know what I mean? I haven't gotten the honor of speaking on a summit stage or speaking on a national wake up call yet in my journey. And so I still watch them every week. 7 years in the business, I don't miss a national wake up call. I don't miss a live event, because if I was so good that I didn't need to hear it, they would have invited me to speak. You know what I mean? So you got to humble yourselves a little bit in this business. So lastly, that's the mindset. Those are the three things that I really want to drive home, is that you've got to have that solid why more than the what. So diamond, it's awesome. You're going to celebrate so freaking hard when you hit diamond, 100%. But you're going to keep going, and you're going to build to 1 star, and you're going to build to 2 star. And spoiler alert, no one told me this. I thought diamond was where you got rich and where like money started to flow in. No, no, no. 2 star. If you really want to see money change in this business, my friends, 2 star. That's where your finances will change. That's where your income will shift. Because when you hit 2 star, they allow you to open up a second business center, and the volume from that just explodes everything. Okay. So I want you to know that, like, if you're like me and you thought that diamond was this thing on a pedestal, this like place that you arrived at, I just want you to know that it's never an arrival. I tell my team all the time, every mountaintop shows that there's more to climb. I get on top of a mountain, I'm proud of myself, and I look around and I see there's more to do. It gives me a new vantage point. Having a plan was my second one. And my third one was making sure that we are coachable. So a couple pro tips as I wrap up, and I'll land the plane for you guys. First of all, I want you to start to see yourself as the leader you are. Leaders, it's not something you've got to have permission. You're not deemed this. Beachbody doesn't send you a certificate and say, hey, you're a leader now in the company. Like, they just don't. It's not a thing. You get to vote for yourself here. This is where you get a vote. Yeah. And so in this business, you become a leader when you start influencing others. Truthfully, leadership is nothing but influence. And so I want you to use your example. there's so many mantras I'm telling you that I tell my team. I feel like I keep saying, I tell my team, I tell my team. My team's like, Brittany, stop telling us stuff. Tell me what they're like. But one of the things I tell, Leah's shaking her head, good answer. One of the things I love to tell them is it starts with me. I can't control anybody else, but it starts with me. This team starts with me, right? And where it goes continues to start with me and my choices and my example. So your leadership is your influence. Never forget that. But this is how you can empower your teammates to fly, because there is some strategy behind this that I don't think we're taught necessarily if we've never had like leadership training, right? Number one, I talk about growing our tribe 2 by 2. So getting to Emerald, when you got to Emerald, I'm sure every single person, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm certain that every single one of you probably got to Emerald and thought to yourself, you know what, that wasn't so bad. I could have got here sooner, right? And I promise you that Diamond is the same. You'll get to Diamond, you'll be like, huh, that wasn't so bad. I guess I could try that again. The next time, maybe faster, right? Everything's like that. You'll get to 2 star, you'll get to 3, whatever. You'll go on and you'll be like, man, why didn't I do that sooner? I put that on a pedestal for far too long. And by the way, I'm sitting here telling myself the same words I'm giving you about 5 star and about 10 star, 15 star, that I got to take it off the pedestal. We grow our tribe 2 by 2, which is going Emerald again and again and again. And my friends, if you're a coach, brand new coach, like you started today, and you went Emerald in March, that's the month we're in. You go Emerald again in April. You go Emerald again in May, and you go Emerald again in June. You will be Diamond before Summit. I mean, truly, Emerald again. Just simplify it 2 by 2. With your team, I don't care if they're discount coaches, I don't care if they're coach coaches, I don't care if you have 1, I don't care if you have 70, set goals together. Because the more that they're surrounded by someone who is moving forward, remember having that conversation with the people closest to you, when you set goals together and they can see that this is a community where we are actually going somewhere, the more that they're going to want to go somewhere with you. It's scary. The mass majority of society does not set goals and talk like we're talking. This is not a conversation that's happening on a Tuesday night most anywhere else in the world right now, right? And so get them around the conversation. Like I said before, create what you crave. Make a list. What are the things you so badly want? I want to wine down Wednesday. Go freaking do it, right? Like do it. Zoom. I love it. This one I've got a bunch of little bullet points for. Believe in others before they believe in themselves. So this business, a lot of times you hear, I'm trying to look for business building coaches. And there are people out there who I joined, I wanted to build a business, right? There are people out there who definitely are business minded and want to build a business and are ready to run the second they enroll. Do not get it twisted. There are people out there like that. I also know that a lot of my successful coaches right now, I've believed in them before they believed in themselves. I showed them what was possible with my example, but I also invited them in to try it themselves. So right now, where you're at, maybe you don't have any emeralds and that's what you're trying to do. Have you thought about hosting an emerald push call by yourself and just get your other 8 coaches? You have, at this point, maybe you have 8 coaches and you're just looking for your 2 emeralds. Have you considered hosting an emerald push call where you teach them what emerald is? And it'll be terrible the first time you do it, trust and believe. Like every call for the first time, I should have put graphics up here of my first calls where it was just me, myself, and I. But yeah, it's gonna be terrible. And that's awesome because you get better as you practice. So you gotta start somewhere. Share trainings often. If you have a team page or a team thread, like maybe you don't have a team page, maybe you're Gabby's downline coach and she's got a rockin' team page, so you're pouring your people in there. That's amazing. Stay close to the mothership, absolutely. But maybe you take your 8 coaches that you have and you make a thread, a message pod with just those people, and that's where you get to practice your leadership skills with them and build your voice up. But in that, share the National Wake Up Call. You can get it off the podcast too. You don't have to like share it, just because it's streaming on Facebook. You could share it via the podcast after it's done. Share the trainings, share any calls, share push to Emerald calls. If you're interested in going Emerald, because there's so many successful coaches out there that have posted those on YouTube for anyone to utilize, right? One thing I love doing is shouting out halfways. So if you have a coach who signed up 1 coach, I make a graphic and I make a big stinking deal that they're halfway to Emerald, right? And so don't discount the fact that they're not quite there yet. Like get them excited that you're halfway. You just need 1 more. And I do this for Diamond too. Once my coach hits 4 coaches, so they've gone Emerald again, they have those 4 coaches, I do a halfway to Diamond graphic. And I want them to know you are so close, right? So that they know that they're chipping away at something. I also hype up and consider hyping up Emerald again as monthly standards. So just like we talk about Success Club as a standard and we have a leaderboard for that, do you have a leaderboard that shouts out how many coach enrollments people have had and recognize who's gone Emerald again? You know, in the past I've done Emerald again graphics and I'll show under it like that, yes, they've, you know, they achieved it, just like Success Club achieved it. They have 2 new coaches or 3 coaches or whatever. And then maybe the people who are almost there, you know, Katie signed 1 coach, Susie signed 1 coach. You're halfway to Emerald this month. Do keep going, right? Doesn't matter if they're a brand new coach going for Emerald for the first time or if they're a coach who've been in this business for a while. That momentum and just teaching your team that that's a standard is so important. This is a soapbox I would love to get on is inactive to active shout outs. I think sometimes, you know, I hear from my diamond coaches a lot. They're like, oh, you know, I have 3 inactive coaches, so I guess I need to go find 3 new people. And I'm like, whoa, what? No, like serve the ones who've already said yes to you, right? And so any week when I go in my back office, and if you don't know how to do this, I'll just navigate you really quick. You go to your Coach Online office, you click on Monitor My Business, and you go to Sponsorship Drill Down. And in the sponsorship drill down, you'll see anyone who's newly active for this week in green. It'll say active and it'll be green. That means this week they went active again. They were inactive and now they're active. So every week on Wednesday, like clockwork on Wednesday, because our work week ends on Wednesday, right? Every week on Wednesday on our team page, I shout out everyone who went active again that week. Everyone, because I want them to know that I love seeing them back on their journey. Active again doesn't necessarily mean to me like I get my rank back or I'm going to promote myself. It's not about me, truly. Them being active means that they're engaged in their journey, and that's why they joined me in the first place. So I don't want to go find new people. I actually want to help my inactive people go active. So you guys have an excellent opportunity coming up. If you don't know, in 1 week, Salted Caramel Shakeology launches, and it's sold out in 24 hours in June. Okay. It will sell out. Maybe not in 24 hours. I don't know. They might have more stocked up this time for us, but it's 56 PV for 1 box. A coach to go active needs 50 PV. So 1 box of salted caramel will take your inactive coaches to active. So if you're pushing for diamond and you're like, man, the missing piece is my inactive coaches, wouldn't it be a great idea this week to get them really hyped up about Salted Caramel Shakeology, right? And how they can get on board with the launch, and that, you know, I offer a little giveaway. You could do a $5 Starbucks gift card. It doesn't have to be anything huge. Offer a giveaway raffle. Everybody who buys it on launch day, put your name in and I'm going to do a raffle, whatever it takes to get the hype going for your people, but let them know that it's coming, okay? And make sure that all of your coaches, your customers, all the people know about it, right? Something I also do is I empower everyone to pick their path, meaning when someone is, I'm creating a share cart for someone, I'm not going to assume they want to be a customer. I'm always going to make sure I ask which way they want me to enroll them. Just like when you're creating a share cart, you would ask what flavor energized they want. This is just like that. So if you have graphics, let me show you this. Did it switch? Can you see pick your path?
Yeah, we can see it. It's
cool. Yay. Okay. So just like you have graphics for like when they're picking out their challenge pack, right? Which challenge pack, which flavor you want to go with. This is a graphic I would send to somebody right at the end. And I'd say, okay, I got one last question for you before I make your share cart. I want you to pick your path because there's 3 options to get you started. Now, the second option is going to update a little bit when we have our VIP customer launching in May. So that'll update then. But for right now, there's the customer option. This is what you get when you're a customer of mine. This is what you get when you join my team. And this is what you get when you join my team and want to level up and build a business, right? So it shows them the different options. And so right there laid out in front of them, they can see like, oh, wow, there's more available when I'm part of the team, right? And I get savings and all the things, right? And so I want to urge you, and I say this because I don't want to assume. When I was, that's fine. I don't need to share anymore. When I was first starting, I assumed that if I asked somebody if they wanted to be a coach while I was setting up the share cart, that I'd lose the sale. I had this fear that like, if I ask them if they want to be a coach, then they're just gonna be like, no, never mind. You know what? I'm done. And I had to figure out where that was stemming from and get over that fear and work through that. But I never can decide for somebody what path they want to go. Just like I would never decide if somebody wanted chocolate Shakeology over vanilla. Like, far be it for me to pick their flavor. Why would I pick their path too? You know? So I want to make sure that all of you guys, when you're setting up share carts for all of your challengers, especially in these push months, that you're really leveraging that, right? That you're leveraging the coach option as an option that they can get behind and show them the reasons why. So, and then the last bullet point I think was something like be proof of what's possible. You never know when you're going to inspire another coach just simply by your actions and you doing it. So the reason that you see at the beginning, oh my gosh, she hit, diamond 4 times. Every time I did that, I showed my coaches that it's possible. Every time I did that, another coach of mine said, if Brittany can hit diamond in her husband's account, why can't I do it in mine? If Brittany can hit diamond in her mom's account, why couldn't I do it in mine? Right. And so they're watching me to see what they can actually accomplish. And so every time I do that, they're seeing this. So you making your spouse emerald, as like if you have that controlled business center and maybe your spouse is enrolled as that CBC, and you making them emerald and shouting yourself out for that, by the way, shout out your spouse, like so and so went emerald, they'll know it's you. Shows them, oh, well, she just made her spouse emerald, so why don't I try, right? And so making sure that you're sharing those sorts of victories along the way allows your team to see what's possible too. Don't be shy about that. Guys, that's all I got. I know that was a lot.
No, that was so good. I love like simple, short to the point, like guest speakers, because you could ramble on like all day, you know what I mean? Because it's like so much information. But honestly, if you guys have questions, please like put them in the chat box or feel free, like unmute yourself. Now I have a question because we have a diamond coffee chat that we do every Sunday with the girls. And this past Sunday was, oh my God, amazing. But the one question that was brought up was, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, what is your goal? Like when you were working on building those other accounts, like your spouse account and your mom's account, did you worked on your business first and then you kind of put the overflow into their business? Correct.
Yes, that's such a great question. You guys, it's like the oxygen mask. You have to take care of yourself before you put it on someone else. So I will never, like Brittany 1.0 gets taken care of. And once Brittany 1.0 has her Success Club points and she feels like comfortable and confident with her benchmarks for the month, then I will say the surplus, the overflow will now go to mom's account, or the surplus will go to my husband's account, right? And so, yeah, that's the other thing. You need surplus in order to do that, right? So if you're always hitting the bare minimum every month and scraping by the skin of your teeth, it's hard to take the focus off of just your own business center, right? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what we basically talked about. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to ask her that. Because a lot of people are like, okay, well, do I hit SE5 and then work on my husband's account? I'm like, why are you stopping at SE5? Like, no, let's not get in that mindset.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important to note, again, it's easy to see built for diamonds. That took time, my friends. And so I didn't start building my husband's to diamond, you guys, until I had a very solid diamond. So I didn't take the focus off my business center until I knew like Brittany 1.0 was solid. I had a couple emeralds on each leg. I had lots of coaches active. And then when I knew that was really solid, I kept the, momentum going there, but then gave surplus over. And same thing when I did my second business center and my mom's account. Well, the second business center is a little different because it rolls up to your first business center. So you don't really have to take the focus off of you. When I did that with my mom's account, same thing, it took time.
Yeah, definitely. It takes time. But even getting them to emeralds is still, that income that will increase into your business as well with the volume. So no, I love that. I mean, do you guys have questions? Type them in. I just, honestly, what I keep like repeating to myself is what you said. It's like, create what you crave. And it's so funny because Emma is my coach, but Emma and I have this conversation all the time. It's like, we always say like, oh my gosh, like I crave this or I crave this about our team. And it's like, okay, like create what you crave, like create that, like find those people that are like you and like duplicate that. And I just love that. And sometimes you need like that reminder is to just literally create what you crave. Like I just keep saying it, but it's so true.
Jody, you said when you say solid diamond, what does that mean to you? So at that time it was, I mean, it's like a solid emerald is like kind of going emerald again, right? So a solid diamond is almost like doubling that. So when you have 4 and 4 plus your emeralds on each side, okay, so now I want 4 emeralds total. I want 2 on each side, and I want 8 coaches total. Because then if one emerald drops, the other one can, compensate and whatnot. And I had built that. I mean, I would say that that's a on its way to being a solid diamond is when you can get to a point where you have 2 emeralds on each side.
No, I agree with that. And I always say like you said, a solid diamond is that's why I like having that spouse account or that controlled account, because you can kind of control your diamonds. Like say you have a coach who goes inactive or, in emeralds and you're about to drop your diamond and you're like, oh crap, let me like see where I can, build up my husband's account now back to emerald. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have wiggle room with those two things, especially if you have I have a mom account, I have my boyfriend's account. So you know what I mean? So that's why we say that. And also income as well. That's a great question. Someone else said something. Are you still the main coach of all the people that are under your mom and husband? Good question.
Yeah, Emily, that's a great question. Yes, absolutely. I believe so. One thing when we talk about create what you crave, my upline coach doesn't work the business anymore. She's gone. I mean, she's not gone. Her name is still there as my upline, but she is no longer working the business. And her upline is somebody who has spoken on the stage at Summit on national radio calls. She's an OG in this business, and she doesn't work the business anymore either. But she's still a coach. Like, so my upline and upline are both still in the network, but they don't actively coach or help anybody or anything like that, right? So one thing I did not love about being a part of that team back in the day was that it was very much like, if you were not my PS coach, do not ask me anything. Like, go to your PS coach. Well, what happens when your PS coach isn't there anymore? Or what happens when your PS coach doesn't really have the answer? I believe in depth. I believe a team thrives not when it's wide, but when it's deep. And so I do have a 3-star next to me, but we have a lot of diamonds on my team. There's diamonds under my husband's account. I have diamonds under, I have coaches that I've helped, but then I've helped their coaches go diamond underneath them. Like, there are diamonds all over our team, but that's because I go deep with my teammates. So yes, if you have a pulse and you're a part of my team, I will help you. I will help you out. I'm available.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you have to think about it. You're building an organization. You're signing up coaches who are signing up coaches who are signing up coaches who are signing up coaches. And I'll never forget this, but I was on this mastermind, this top coach, like in the business for, oh my gosh, like more than 10 years, I feel like. And she was like, I mentor all of my downline. Like, I dig deep, because if that coach quits, they roll up to me and now I am responsible for them. And you have to remember that, like, which is why I love talking to Ashley's coaches, Ashley and Amanda and whoever. Like, I love talking to those coaches, and why we kind of try and do like monthly things. So I can get to know them as well, why we do photo shoots, why we do all those fun things, wine nights, because I want to create that culture where it's like, okay, I am like, yes, I'm like your grandma coach, but I also joke about it when I'm signing up people under my mom or Brandon. And I'm like, okay, you're going to see my boyfriend's name, but also I'm going to back up before that. Why I share Brandon on my social media is because when they're going to sign up with me, I want them to know who Brandon is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if they follow me on social media, they know who Brandon is. Like, they've seen him, they know that he now does pre-workout videos. So that's going to be a Saturday ritual now. He's obsessed with it. So that he's going to do that. And so when I'm signing up, like, listen, you're going to see my boyfriend's name. And they also know my mom too, AKA Sharon. So they're going to know who they are. And I'm like, listen, they do not they're not going to text you. They're not going to do it. I'm still your coach. Like, you do not want Brandon to coach you. Trust me. I kind of make a joke out of it. And they're like, okay, good. Like, whatever. And I've never had a problem with signing anyone up under my mom or anything like that. So honestly, I always just kind of make a joke of it. And then I also like remind them that I'm still their coach. It's going to be me. And that, you know, again, like digging deep into that culture and that organization that you have, that it's going to, like, you can't just like exactly what you said, you know, you sign up a coach and then your coach signs up a coach and you're like, no, I can't help them. Like, I only help my PS coaches. Like, that is the wrong mindset to have. Like, so that's a really good question. My family business. Yeah. I mean, it is a family business, you know? And
I let him know that I manage his account. You know, I basically let them know I manage my husband's account. Don't worry about it. Like, we have multiple business centers, you know, and so they get it, right? But yeah, similar. Like, you have to. People need to know that. They need to know that that person exists in your life, right? Because also with Beachbody compliance, if they were to call your spouse and be like, "Hey, are you a coach?" and they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about," that would be an issue with compliance. So like, they need to know.
yeah, totally. And again, like that comes down to communication too, like what she talked about in the beginning. And she kind of joked about like, that doesn't mean get a divorce. And then Emma and I are over here like, hi, divorced. But no, it doesn't mean that. That's not why I got a divorce.
Was it Beachbody? Was it Beachbody?
I was because of Beachbody. No, that's not why. That's totally not why. But you know, that was, you know, one thing about being with Brandon is like, you know, that was like a, you know, set in stone. Like, I'm a Beachbody coach. This is where I spend my time. Like, these are my goals. We share goals and visions together. You know, like when he says like, oh, I want to get this house, or I want to, you know, build a house on this land. I'm like, okay, you know what that's going to take? Me not watching Netflix and working my ass off. Like, just so you know. And he's like, yes, babe, like, let's get it. And I'm like, yeah, you know? And he'll ask me, he'll be like, okay, how many girls did you sign up like this month? And I'm like, oh, this is so, like, you know what I mean? So it's fun. Like, he knows that this is my job. So anyway, that it's like, if he were to come home and I'd be like, how was work today? It's the same thing. He comes home, he's like, how was work today? Even though he knew I was at home all day, right? He comes home the past 2 days and he's like, okay, how was work today? And I'm like, I didn't go to work. And I'm like, wait, yes, I did. You know what I mean? Because I sub. So normally I'm at the school, but I've had the luxury of being off these past 2 days. So it was really nice to get that like almost gratification that like, yeah, I am a coach. I run a business. I am working, you know? So have that communication with your spouse and like share coaching with them. Share what diamond means for not you, for your family. Like, share what 2-star means and like go over the FAQs or maybe watch a video together. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I want Brandon to watch this so like he can understand like what the business means. You know what I mean? So, and I definitely want him to come to Summit. Like, I'm pregnant. Well, you guys know that, but I'm always, every time we go to Summit, I always see the dads with the little like carriers while the moms are speaking on stage. I'm like, that's gonna be me one day. Like, just Brandon's gonna hold the baby. I'm gonna be speaking on stage.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
So good.
Okay, so no more questions about anything. Diamonds, we're good. Okay, well, it is 8:59. We are right at an hour. So I want to say thank you so much, Brittany. Oh yeah, boomerang. Yuli, you're the bomb. So we're gonna take a boomerang, but thank you so much. Literally, Brittany, this was so good, so valuable. Okay, so guys, if you want to be in the picture, just take off your whatever, unmute your video, and we'll take a boomerang. Okay. I'll do a sparkly one so we can all be like super cute. Okay, that's not a sparkly one. Okay, there we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cute. Okay, love you guys so much. And honestly, create what you crave and just have fun with it. Love you guys.